In this video, I'm going to configure VTP or VLAN Trunking Protocol. VTP is a protocol used by Cisco switches to manage the creation, deletion, and modification of VLANs in a domain. There are three operational modes of VTP: server, client, and transparent. The default VTP operational mode is server mode. In server mode, a switch can create, modify, and delete VLANs, as well as configure VTP parameters for the VTP domain. VTP servers advertise any VLAN changes to switches in their domain over trunk links. In client mode, a switch can only receive and forward VLAN information from the VTP server. It cannot make any VLAN changes. In transparent mode, a switch doesn't participate in VTP. It maintains its own VLAN database, but doesn't advertise it to the domain. It does, however, receive and forward VTP advertisements from other switches. To partake in VTP communication, the switches need to be in the same domain, have the same password if configured, use the same VTP version, and be connected with a trunk link. Lastly, VLAN database changes are tracked using a revision number advertised by VTP servers. VTP clients will request VLAN database information from the VTP server if the revision number received is greater than its current revision number. So the first thing I want to do is configure the trunk port. So I'm going to go into the CLI for the VTP client on the left, enable conft interface G01, switch port mode trunk, do show interfaces trunk. Okay, we can exit out of that. Next, the transparent switch. Enable conft interface range G01 to 2, switch port mode trunk, do show interfaces trunk. Perfect, we can exit out of this. And lastly, the VTP server. Enable conft interface G02, switch port mode trunk, do show interfaces trunk. So with the trunks configured, I'm going to go ahead and start off by configuring the transparent switch. So I'm going to go into my CLI, enable conft VTP mode transparent, VTP domain cisco.com, and I'm going to create two VLANs, VLAN 100, name red, VLAN 101, name blue. Now let's check, do show VLAN brief, and we'll check VTP, do show VTP status. So we can see that the VTP domain name is cisco.com and the VTP operating mode is transparent. Now notice the configuration revision is 0. This is always going to be 0 because transparent operating mode does not partake in VTP. So next, let's configure the VTP server. So I'm going to close this window. I'm going to go into the VTP server CLI. And I'm going to type in do show VTP status. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the default operational mode for VTP is server, and we can see that here since I haven't done any configuration yet. Another thing I wanted to mention is we don't have a domain name assigned at this point. If we had set that first switch into server mode rather than transparent mode, this would have joined the cisco.com domain. And the reason why is that a VTP switch that does not have a domain assigned to it will join the first domain that's advertised to it. Let's go ahead and configure the domain, VTP domain, cisco.com. We're going to make a password as well. So VTP password 01. And I'm going to create two VLANs. VLAN 10, name black, VLAN 20, name white. Now let's check, do show VLAN brief. We can see them there. Do show VTP status again. And we can see that we are in the Cisco domain now. So next, I'm going to configure the VTP client. So let's open up the CLI, enable conft VTP mode client. Now, what do you think the domain is set to right now? Let's take a look. Do show VTP status. Well, it's in the Cisco domain. Because like I just mentioned, if we have a switch that has node VTP domain assigned to it, it will join the first one that it's advertised. So let's go ahead and check our VLANs. Do show VLAN brief. Now we can see here that the VLANs we had on the VTP server, if we scroll up a little bit here, black and white, are not present in the client. So why is that? It's because we haven't entered the VTP password. So VTP password, password01, and then we do another do show VLAN brief, and there they are. So just to demonstrate the functionality of transparent mode, let's create two more VLANs on the VTP server. VLAN 30, name purple. VLAN 40, name yellow. Okay, let's check. Now let's check our transparent switch. So we still only have the red and blue VLANs because transparent mode does not partake in VTP. What it does do, however, is it will forward the advertisement from VTP server for those two new VLANs that we created to the client. So that is a little demonstration on VTP. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.